And we are live tonight from the Outer Rim in what is another gorgeous night. And Cubs, we're back together, man. We're doing some stuff.
It's been a while since I have said, ready, go. And I've heard you say that intro for a video of yours. And so it feels good. It feels like I'm coming home. Like, I feel like everything's going to work out now, Urs. Everything's going to work out.
Yeah. All right, guys. We got 3v3 teams for you. 3v3 returns this week. We talked about it on Cubs. Yeah, I think we're both pretty excited. We both don't mind it. It's pretty good.
I love 3v3. It's one of the most unique areas of this whole game. That's why I wish people would appreciate this a little bit more. I know a lot of people don't like 3v3, but where else do you have these interactions? It's like a totally different way to look at the game, and I love it.
Yeah, and there are ways around pretty much everything now. It's just whether or not you have the roster or the mods or the right comps. And we're going to be talking comps here to guys. So the way this is going to work is we did 15 comps over on Cubs' channel. His production value is a little bit nicer than mine, but we're going to still get you 15 more over here. I'm going to say the comp out. Cubs is going to build it in his little squad builder here. We're going to keep rolling. You ready, Cubs?
All right, I'm ready. My typing fingers are hopefully not going to make typos.
So, Hall, I have the Book of Urs here. You guys may have tuned in to Twitch. You saw me scribbling notes last 3v3 season. We've since moved the Book of Urs to a spreadsheet now, but I still have my notes here, so we're going to go through that. And the first team I want to talk about here is a Lando lead with Han and Chewie.
Oh, now, I love it.
Yes, we talked about this over on your channel. And what I like to use this against is a handbags team. You see that with Finn and the handbags generally is what the lead looks like. It's typically about a 51 banner win, and why this works so well, Cubs. You can free up your CLS to move it with other rebels. Lots of people have tons of rebels farmed up now because of the GL requirements. But Han and Chewie fitting very well there. And we talked about another team over on your channel, CLS with 3PO and Shupio. So that's a way of breaking it up. But yeah, you mentioned something about Wedge. What did you want to say about Wedge there as well? What Wedge can work in the spot?
You can use Han or Wedge, in my opinion. And Wedge Antilles has a really great leadership ability, plus 30% offense, and then you've got that health recovery as well. However, with Han and Chewie, Lando, in a lot of ways, I think is better because he's got the 29% crit damage, which crit damage goes a long way with Han and Chewie. I think that's phenomenal, and you get the plus 15 speed boost. And so I think Lando's probably the better choice, but you can get away with Wedge as well.
Yeah, so lock that one in. I do prefer Lando a little bit over Wedge. I use Wedge in other Rebel teams. We'll get there a little bit later. But yeah, Lando Calrissian, you had to farm him up. Let's use him. Let's make good use of him. Let's keep it rolling here. The next team I want to talk about is a General Grievous counter. We're going to be using Revan, old school Revan. This is a team that a lot of people have been using for many moons.
Jedi Revan, I take it, right? Yep, okay.
Yeah, yep. Jedi Knight Revan. And we've got Jolie. Make sure you put him in the second spot. And then any attacker, any Jedi attacker will do, as long as it's, relatively decent gear 12, maybe even low relic level. And this is just a standard General Grievous comp counter. A lot of people loved it for whatever reason. It's kind of a weird thing for me, Cubs. A lot of people just put their Grievous on defense. I don't know if the banners can be iffy at times, but this is a surefire way to recover banners and do a good job with a team that can be deadly with Grievous. Any thoughts on this one?
So I really like if you can get away with having Hermit Yoda in this team, and I actually kind of like sacrificing Jolie and doing Hermit Yoda with maybe Yoda, because that's a route to good banners. But then you leave yourself exposed if you do get caught behind a bad Terminator train and somebody dies. There's not a lot of forgiveness there after that first death that Jedi Revan will save you from. But with Jolie and no Hermit Yoda and an attacker, you do leave yourself also a little bit vulnerable to lose at least 3 banners there. It can be a little bit harder to recover that protection fully.
Yep, I totally get it. All right, so lock that one in. Let's keep it rolling here. Now, here's a team I like to use against a team you mentioned. You mentioned that CLS, Chupio, 3PO team. We've seen that many times before.
Yeah.
How I like to counter this is I usually like to throw a very good team at that. We mentioned that over on your video. I like to run a Darth Revan, Sith Marauder, and a Dark Side Basti here.
Okay.
I think you have to respect that CLS team with Chupio and 3PO. I have no problem throwing a 3-man, saving Malik potentially for a solo there. So Darth Revan, Sith Marauder, and Basti open with fear on CLS. and then you're just sort of off to the races at that point.
And this is a win. I mean, if this is a team, if you're placing that CLS team on offense, and this is what ends up getting used for it, you drew out Darth Revan. I'm going to call that a win. But if your Darth Revan goes fast enough, which he should be able to beat everyone on that team, and no CL or no Han in there, then hopefully you can get enough damage out fast enough that you retain all your banners.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, yeah, you know, it's a good team to free up that Malik, and I like using Malik in solos. You know, we have our solo artists here with Ness, Malik, Gas, those kind of characters. So let's keep it rolling here. Now, I don't know if you have this character unlocked, but let's just say you see that JML on defense, Jedi Master Luke, and there's Barris and Snips out there. You can very easily throw a C solo out there and beat that. It's a high banner win, about 55 expected banners. We'll just put Sid out there, but
pretend that's Sith Eternal, guys. I promise.
It really is. Did you see that advertisement for Galaxy of Heroes?
No.
Where it was like it showed like level 1 Sid, and then it showed like Sith Eternal at like level 85. I'm like, that's not how the game works. Yeah. Anyways, misleading marketing.
Right,
you see JML with some average Jedi or some maybe not great Jedi. I would say anything outside of Gas or Jedi Knight Luke, feel free to run that C solo. It works. It's a no-brainer. It's pretty much you just put it on auto and just roll with it. So.
Yep. And by contrary, this is something we talked about in my video if you guys missed it. If you do see that your opponent has Sith Eternal, I might refrain from placing your Jedi Master Luke, because it's just asking for high banner matches.
Yep. And I've got another team here. We're going to do another GL counter here. So you see that weaponized potato in Jedi, or whatever her name is, Galactic Legend Rey.
Potato. We know what you mean when you say potato.
The weaponized potato, yes. So you see Rey with L3 and Hoda. That is a pretty mean comp there with the amount of thickness that L3 can bring to the table with that damage immunity.
So thick.
What I like to run against that is a C. So we have C again here.
Okay.
C, Sith Eternal, and then Sith Empire Trooper and Watt.
Oh, wow. You went a different way than I thought you were going to go. I was predicting Armorer. So Watt, and then Sith
Watt.
Trooper.
Sith Eternal Trooper, yep.
Sith Empire Trooper, you mean, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, did I say that wrong?
You said Sith Eternal Trooper. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're making up new units here, guys. So basically what you want to do is shield tech on Sith Eternal. From Watt, you're going to link Rey and L3, and then just kill the sides, and then just ultimate, and you're good to go here.
It's the best way to handle that team, I think, comfortably. When I went against Arnold in GAC 3v3, that's what I used for it. The only problem with that is you're almost for sure giving up banners when you do it. And so I would love to find other counters that feel more reliable, but that team is just arguably the best defensive 3v3 team in the game. And having a confident win goes a long way against it. So I like it.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Mon Mothma, Pow, and Hoth Rebel Soldier.
Woo!
Now, I have a fully loaded Mon Mothma team. That was like the first team I kind of farmed up when I came back to the game. Really enjoy that team. It's a lot of fireworks, a lot of explosions going on with that team. And once it gets going, it can recover too. So this is when you break down all the pieces. I like to run it with Pow and Hoth Rebel Scout. I have all my speed mods on Hoth Rebel Scout. And I usually open with basic just to get the turn meter rolling. So open with basic unless I really need a stun right out of the gate. But usually if I go first with this team, open with that basic, you get that added turn meter, then Pow goes. He yells, and then it's just off to the races. So
nice.
This is the variant I like to use, and then that frees up like Biston, Hoth Rebel, Soldier, Kara for other teams with like wedge lead and things like that. So this is the variant I like to run.
Sexy. Chalk it up. I got nothing else to say.
Okay. So we talked about Nude over on your channel and how much of an all-star he is in 3v3. I'm going to pair him with another 3v3 all-star here in Droideka. And we're going to add a little damage immunity here with Jango Fett. This is a team. This is an old school team. This is like butter and jelly right here, man.
Yeah.
we talked about it a little bit on your channel. Basically, you want a really fast nude here, spend that extortion all around. There's sort of a lot of panic that goes on with the damage immunity, and there's big damage coming out of both those guys. So, anything to add on that one, Cubs?
If you have a Relic 7 Django, guys, this is going to be a great team. I really feel like there are so many different ways to use Relic 7 Django, and I like him on defense almost every time because he just pops off. And this is a great team to really set the stage for him to do that with both Droidica and Jango Fett. With the damage immunity, Newt, of course, is going to be stealth pretty quick if you decide to kill him early on. And you're just going to be sitting there hitting, pounding sand while they light you up with some pretty intense DPS. This is a great team. I've got a different Newt team that we talked about on my channel, but this also, I mean, you really can't go wrong with this.
Yeah, I will say, like, those two characters, Newt and Droideca, have burned me so many times in 3v3. I've learned to overcommit resources against them.
Yeah, it's probably a good move.
All right, let's go. This is a wild one. This is for the Hall boys out there.
Okay, Tusken Raider.
Akbar lead.
Ooh, Akbar. Okay.
With 3PO and Fulcrum.
Oh, that is very, very intriguing. I'm anxious to hear your explanation here.
Okay, so you've got the added speed from an Akbar lead and the assisting when they do a non-attack ability. So you have 3PO in there jacked up with some good speed, and he's constantly spamming his abilities. Fulcrum getting called on the assists, and it just gets pretty nasty with all his exposes generated by 3PO as well. This team is sneaky good on defense. If I had a better Akbar, I'd commit to running it more often, but this team can do really good work.
Akbar is one of the more underrated characters in this game. Just going to say it. His leadership ability is very applicable. There's a lot of great places to use him. I think the only reason we don't see a lot of people getting use out of him is because he's under-geared. Well, guess what? You should gear him. If you get the time, it's great to have home one with a Relic commander. And so I think that's a great team to bring up, and a good plug for our boy Akbar.
Yep, and Fulcrum is so good, one of the most fun characters in this game. And I agree with you. My Rebel ships are on their way right now. I finished up my Biston. My Y-Wing's getting finished up right now.
Oh,
Next
dude.
stop will be Akbar.
You finished your Biston?
I finished my Biston.
Like
Relic
your Biston's
7.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
and my U-Wing as well. It's just ready to go.
I'm jealous.
All right, let's keep it rolling here, buddy. Let's just go with the old, tried and true. If you need something strong, we talked about whether or not we should include this, and we both just gotta say, let's just remind people how good this team is. Darth Revan, Dark Basti, and Malak. Like, you see that on defense, you're just like, all right. You see that sitting in Zone 1 North, Zone 2 South. It's just like, you're gonna have to throw a good team at that. It's just easy as it gets right there.
Yep. And I think here's the thing to look at. In a situation where 9 out of 10 times I will place this team is when I look at my opponent and I see that he's got a fast or a slower Darth Revan and Basti than I have. And if you've got that, place him, because then he's going to have to take something better than Darth Revan, Malak, and Basti against it. Or if he makes the mistake of taking his own Darth Malak or Basti and Darth Revan against it, then he'll probably lose because of the speed dump there.
Yep. Oh, good stuff with that team. I just hate seeing that one on defense. I'm not going to lie. All right. Yeah. Let's keep it rolling here. I've got a scoundrel comp for you, and I'm pretty sure my boy Clash blessed this one before he departed the holotables. But
did he anoint it?
Kira,
it's worthy then.
Kira with L3 and YOLO. Now, YOLO, a very sneaky underrated character in this game. Not a lot of people have him farmed up. Not a lot of people really cared to get him going. This
you
guy
said YOLO?
YOLO.
That's
with
young Lando,
Kira
right?
Young
Wait.
Han Solo.
Young Han Solo?
Yeah.
YOLO. Yeah. Not okay.
Yeah, you got it. So this team, let me just break this down for you. You've got 3 prepared kits here. You've got protection, be able to be moved around with YOLO. You've got a very thick L3 with, most people have their L3 pretty much at Relic. And Kira lead, really all you need is Kira for the lead. You always talk about how underrated Kira is for scoundrels. She's just a catch-all leader. Yeah. But what makes this team great is the playing with the long game with L3. Anytime you see L3, she's going to stretch the match out big time with those constant taunts and her thickness, right? Well, YOLO gets going late game. He's got to throw the dice up 3 times, and then he just starts handing damage out. So this is a great underrated offensive and defensive team.
The 5 people that can run this should definitely run this.
Yeah. I'm one of those 5.
You've got a young land or Han?
Yeah, I got a Relic 5 young Han. He does work.
Dude. He's one of those characters, like, I've got no reason to farm him, but he's actually really not that bad. He's not bad at all. I never see him and I never get a chance to use him, but that ramping offense is significant.
Yeah, and then he's got protection recovery as well.
Mm-hmm.
He can heal, he can move stuff around. Like, he's just a very fun kid.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. All right, let's keep rolling here. The next one, I think I've shared this team with you before, but, you know, everybody's got their Rolo farmed up. So let's go Rolo lead with Kara.
Okay.
And we've got Watt.
Oh,
now,
okay.
I know. I'm telling you.
This is some sorcery here. What do you got going on here?
This is a luxury team right here. This is like you're gonna get the win. Let's have fun with it, right?
Okay.
So you got Watt here. Watt's gonna go first. You're gonna go weapon tech. No, you're gonna go shield tech on Kara. Get your security policy there in Kara.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe you reset some turn meter with Kara. You're gonna make Kara super thick, and then weapon tech on Rolo. Weapon tech on Rolo, great in 3v3. She just dishes out the damage. I know all you guys out there got your Rolos reliced up for that JML farm. So
she hits way harder than people realize, dude.
And like in 3v3, there's 2 less targets. All that damage gets concentrated. You just got to be mindful. Anybody like a Nest where they're gonna heal off multiple hits in a single turn, things like that you have to be mindful of. But single attack damage, I've taken out Malix with Rolo. She's that good.
Damn. All right, I like it. Rolo.
Okay. I've got a couple more for you here. Let's go Finn, Major Tom, aka Resistance Trooper, and Holdo.
OG Finn.
OG Finn, yes, you got it.
Major Tom and oh gosh, there's a lot of troopers in this game.
Holdo.
And then Holdo. Okay.
So what we've got here is your resistance scraps basically left over. Now, I know the Hall loves Major Tom, but he fits well on this team. Finn lead, still very underrated, still very good, even after the rework it got several years ago. Great with banner recovery, right, Cubs? We love banner recovery in GAC.
Yep, absolutely. Look at this. They reset my Finn leader, and I haven't done anything with it since.
It's still good, man. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I think eventually, if I go after GL Ray, I think I will put the Zeta back on him. I think this is a good team. You got your damage dealer and Major Tom, and then Amy Holdo with the AoE days, and then healing from Amy Holdo as well, and then Finley. Great stuff.
Yep. Resistance Trooper Major Tom can really, really pop off if you give him the right set of circumstances. And so I love this team. I actually miss. I used to get a lot of mileage out of my my Resistance Trooper, and just the gear is kind of passing by. I haven't farmed him up, and so maybe one day. One day.
All right, last team we got here is another use for Django here. We're going to do Bosk, Django, and Boba. Now, this is just a classic Bounty Hunter 3v3 team, but I want to remind people, when you put Django and Boba together, you have 2 attackers that can target anybody on the board, and this is clutch against Night Sister teams. If your bounty hunters are leveled up, and I know the Hall has got some good bounty hunters. We did a roster review just a few nights ago. And these guys are amazing for those Night Sister comps on defense.
Probably the biggest reason why I never run this team on offense against Night Sisters is because I'm just so obsessed with putting my Django on defense. I think he's born to go on defense. There's so many reasons why he can trip people up. But what's great about this team is even without Django, you can still get a similar interaction with Bosk and Boba and Dengar, or even Grief is a great option to help get to contract a little bit early, or the new Bounty Hunter Mando does great against Night Sisters. There's a lot of options now, but what's really nice about Django, if you do save him, if he's not somebody you put on defense, is if someone's defeated on his turn, they're not reviving, which is great against Night Sisters.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, guys. That is our top 30 list of 3v3 teams. Hope you guys have fun this 3v3 season. be sure to drop some of these teams in there and see if you can get a win. Cubs, do you have any parting thoughts for the Hall?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. So we coordinated this video. We decided we're going to do a top 30 list. He was going to do 15. I was going to do 15. And we weren't going to talk about what our team ideas were. We have none of the teams being the same here. Not one. And then I think what's really interesting as well is I took more of a defensive approach and you took more of an offensive approach. So even though we did not coordinate on what we're going to do, we ended up with a list that I think is really helpful on both sides. So nice work on your listers.
Good stuff, guys.
The Book of Urs. The Book of Urs coming to theaters soon.
You guys be sure to check out the first half of this video over on Cubs' channel. Cubs, anything you want to say to the Hall? We good?
Love you, Hall.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
See ya.